beat from scratch in Studio One 5. I'm gonna use a free drum kit from Cymatics. It's called 808 Mob Hip Hop Sample Pack if you want to use the same one. So when we open Studio One, we're gonna choose New Song, and from the User tab, we're gonna click Empty Song. I'm gonna set the tempo right away. We want to be between 130 and 170. I'm gonna go somewhere in between. So for our drums, we're gonna use impact, and we can click here and type impact, and now we can drag it at an empty space so we can load our one-shot samples here. We can go to files. In my case, it's on my desktop, so we're gonna use one-shots. So I'm gonna start with a kick. Next we can use a clap or a snare. We need a closed hi-hat. Let's find an open one as well. And last we can use some perks. Let's use those two. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna double click here. We have one bar, and up to the start of 5, these are 4 bars. So we're gonna loop this. We're gonna go here so that we can select from 1 to 5, and then we can click this so this 4 bars repeat. And next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna right click, go to instrument parts, and convert that to pattern. So now when we double click again, we have this, let's say, drum sequencer that is 1 bar. So in order to match the 4 bars here, we're gonna choose 64 steps, and we can make it so that we can see all numbers. You can do it from here as well. So now we can start building our drums. We're gonna start with the hi-hats. So we're gonna choose our closed hi-hats here, and we can just press this. And now we can place our clap or snares. We're gonna use one at number 9 and the second one at 25. And now we can press D so that it duplicates that to the next bars. And if we want to make our hi-hats a little more interesting, we can use some notes in between. So and let's go to our kick. So for the kick, we're gonna use one at the first bar, and we can use the odd numbers. So and we're gonna avoid the first hit of the second bar. and then we can start again. So now we're gonna go to our open hat, and this needs to be a little more symmetric. So if we place one, let's say here, we're gonna place one here as well. And for the perks, the same odd number applies. We can use from 1, 3, 5, 7 and so on, but we're gonna avoid places where the kick or the snare hits. So any odd number will do. Alright, so right now we have 4 bars, and in order to make it a 8-bar loop, we're gonna click here and we're gonna click this. So now we can make 2 variations. We're gonna name this number 1 and this 2. So we're gonna drag the number 2 here, and we're gonna make sure this is number 1. We can see here, and now we can change the second one. So we're just gonna use some more hits at the end, so that is having a sense of closure. So now let's make a simple melody for this loop. I'm gonna use my tie for this. I'm gonna just drag it here, and while this is not the best for modern trap, we're gonna find something. Let's use this for now. So let's start with making a note, and build around this. And we can select everything and press D. And on the last bar we can make something different. can select everything, oops, and press D. So now we can choose my tie again, and I'm not gonna go into chords, so we can choose a pad, and let's see what note we played. It's a D sharp, so and we can choose a different sound. And now we can go on to make our 808. So we're gonna use how's it called? Sample 1. We're gonna drag it here, and we're gonna go to our files again and go to the 808 folder. Let's choose one that is on C, so we don't have to tune it. And the only thing we're gonna do here, we're gonna uncheck the filter and LFO, and we're gonna click mono, and now we can start. I'm gonna mute the instruments, so we have only our drums. So since we know we're in D sharp, and we need to match our kicks, so we can see here where it is. And you can do it by ear or go. So now it sounds like this. It's a little too loud. And along with the instruments. So now we can use our 808 pattern here to make some changes. so we don't have the same note all over. So for a start, if you can make an 8-bar loop with drums, a lead sound, a pad or some chords, and the 808, now you can make this a whole beat and arrange it. I'm gonna show you how to do that on the next video, and maybe some basic mixing. So until then, practice your drums, and I'm gonna see you soon. Cheers.